Guys, welcome back to the Trout Wrangler Podcast. I'm your host, Ryan Garrity. It is currently 4 o'clock on Tuesday, June 17th. Um, we got, finally, I've been doing like solo episodes for the last 2 weeks, and people are probably getting sick of me yapping, but I'll let you introduce yourself real quick, Chris.
Yeah, I'm Chris Holcomb, do the marketing for Renegade Tackle Company, formerly Renegade Fly Rods. Um, Born and raised Cape Cod, Massachusetts. Obviously, the fishing scene there. Live currently in the Destin, Florida area.
Oh, sweet. That's a heck of a move, isn't it?
Yeah, uh, once I got introduced to saltwater fly fishing in Florida, it was really hard to leave full time. So bounce up to Cape Cod to get on some stripers as much as I can in the summer and avoid some of the heat of middle Florida. So I'm still a northern boy at heart,
Oh,
but
yeah.
uh, the Florida fishery kind of stole me.
Dude, it did it. It did it to me as well. It's like we go up to Marblehead sometimes and we'll chase striper, and then it's like you go down to Florida and you're chasing like tarpon and all that bonefish, snook, and you're like, this is unbelievable. It's like you
Yeah,
can't do this in New
stripers.
England.
Yeah, stripers still have a huge place and definitely a top five fish for me, but um, kind of the uniqueness and not you can target a fish in Florida but still end up catching a good bag and going for some of the slams, whether you're in South Florida or the Gulf Coast, or the East Coast. You're kind of hitting different things all within a couple hours. So
Oh yeah,
yeah.
dude.
And the freshwater side doesn't disappoint
Oh
either.
yeah, it doesn't. I lived outside the villages. I worked for the villages for a little bit and was like 15 minutes from the Harris chain. And at that time, I had
Oh,
a bass
awesome.
boat, and I was dat fishing down there. It's like where I'm at in North Carolina. You're like deep, clear lakes. It's like I got down there, and it's like you're throwing a trap over grass, and you're like, dude, I'm lost, man. Like,
Yeah,
but like when I got down there, I started doing more fly fishing with like an 8 weight, 9 weight in my hand than even
yeah,
bass fishing, dude. It's so hard not to because it's all just so
yeah.
addicting. Even like that Crystal River area, and then you could go to the Space Coast and absolutely destroy them too, which is awesome.
For sure. Yeah, grew up kind of surf casting mainly in Massachusetts, and I always said I didn't need another hobby, and here I am. Here I ended up getting into fly fishing, and um, loved it. Throwing big old 10 weight, 11 weights, off the shore still with like my surf casting, you know, at core, and then I've kind of had the opposite journey of slowly going down in rod weight through my journey of growing through fly fishing. So it's been cool, but um, coming down to Florida actually got me more into freshwater just because of the presence of largemouth and what you could catch. So it was pretty quick to just like rack up new PBs
Oh
my
yeah,
first couple years down there. And I was playing college baseball at the time, and we'd show up, and our field had two ponds around it, and me and two of my buddies every day before practice or before a game, we'd show up before stretching started and everything, but we'd be in full uniform, like ripping through this pond and catching some big fish. So, and then coming back to Mass, it kind of brought on a new oomph for me to get into like the smallie fishing up
oh
here.
yeah.
And I was way too late to realize how good it was. I took advantage of it growing up and fishing it with my parents and grandparents, grandfather, and yeah. So
It's like you,
it's gotten more diverse as I've gotten
it's
older.
like you got Squam Lake and Winnipesaukee and all that up there, and dude, like people don't realize how good the smallmouth fishing is in New England
Right.
until like you're up there and you're like,
Right.
that's a tank of a smallmouth sitting on bed. And it's like I just gonna draw this
Yeah.
drop shot down to him. It's a 3.5 pound smallmouth, and everybody. It's like that's what's cool about New England, though. Is you have that good balance. You can go fly fishing, and then you can go and catch a 3 pound smallmouth on spinning gear in the middle of New
Right.
Hampshire.
Yeah, and then August hits, and you got these little rockets running around the the shore, and I love some albie
Oh
fishing.
yeah.
I was kind of also late to that burst because with growing up playing baseball, August was always a hammer time and rotated into played some football. So that was always like 2 a day time period when they were running. And but between surf casting and some offshore fishing, that's kind of where I lived majority of my younger ages of fishing. And yeah, expanded into the fly fishing side. And I mean, I still, we're super diverse. Me and kind of the group that we go with, we're bringing everything out. I
Oh
mean,
yeah.
we're bringing shotguns to shoot ducks as we see them. We're, spin gear, fly gear, and the industry's kind of trended towards a place where 2018, maybe even further back, but there was a super huge push towards um, one genre,
Oh
and
yeah.
everyone was either a diehard this, diehard that. You saw it in the hunting side, you see it in the fish, you saw it in the fishing side, and now with the trend post COVID of, and now it's just about access, and there's so many people out there fishing, and fisheries are so pressured now. Um, you got to bring out the whole bag to figure out what you can catch them
Oh
on.
yeah.
And it is really good to see a healthy push in the industry towards, um, different varieties of fishing, and just being able to have whatever you need and for any situation. And most people nowadays in the industry, like their goals are just to, over their lifetime, have a diverse approach versus, I feel like the target one fish mentality for the biggest
Oh
or
yeah.
whatever has kind of faded a little bit. Maybe that's a social media doing with just seeing these different areas and potentials. But they used to obviously got the striper guys here that are searching for 50 plus,
Oh
and
yeah.
it's not like it used to be, but yeah,
So you're always gonna have that crew out there, say like in the Cape, and then out like Plymouth, and then up in Maine that are just out there chain smoking cigs and just sitting there trying to catch a massive striper. And it's like, you know
yeah,
what? That's the epitome. That's like, the first like get like what am I trying to say? The first thing that got people like, and I feel like it's almost like a stereotype at this point now. The first like glimpse of New England fishing that people got was from like Wicked Tuna and that
yeah,
Polly guy where he's just like a loud fucking dickhead, just
yeah,
screaming and chain smoking cigs, and he got kicked off of like 3 boats, so he started his own. He's just f bombing
yeah.
dudes the entire time. But it's like, dude, it's like it's not the epitome of it, but it's like there is a good like chunk of
Good
people
chunk.
from New England that are still like that. And it's like it's good to finally have somebody on that like actually knows that side of New England. And it's like you always see the video too, those guys in Boston Harbor. It's a fucking baby whale Jay. It's a baby
Yeah, yeah,
fucking
that's a good
whale
one.
Jay. And that
There's you got everything. I
oh
mean,
yeah.
because it feels like mostly everyone here at some point in their like family or heritage has an association with fishing. And that's just like growing up around that. Like, Florida is obviously super. Its whole tourism is based off the fishing industry and travel and everything
Oh
like
yeah.
that, and fishing helps drive that economy. But you look at New England as a whole and its foundation, and some of those the whaling industry obviously is faded, but that core of what it is to be a New Englander like has not
At
faded.
all.
And I think some of the saltiest people are New
Oh
Englanders, and
yeah.
I'll happily have a conversation about that with talk about the Pacific Northwest and how gnarly it is out there with the saltwater scene, and everything from up in Alaska and everything like that. Like those are some salty guys too, but kind of the history here is obviously super cool, and being able to grow up with that. So I take definitely a different attitude towards fishing than some of my good buddies down in Florida. I'm very used to the night shift and everything like
Yeah.
that, and you get it with some of the bridge fishing in South Florida. Those guys are out there grinding, and you're coming across some characters, and it's the same way here. Like the couple times we've been walking down the beach, and it's like 2 in the morning, and we're just trying to get that one bite,
Yeah.
and come across coyotes that, there's nothing else out there. So it does startle you a little bit and you're just like, oh my gosh. Or you come up on a guy who's, know what you said, chain smoking out
Yeah,
there. And
hitting the crack
usually
pipe.
they'll give you a joke. And as long as you don't stand next to them, like,
You're good.
it's good
Oh
conversation.
yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. So
Did you play any
good
Cape
time.
League ball when you were out there?
Yeah. Yeah, I did. Was lucky enough to play for the two Kettleers here, and baseball was kind of my main thing for a good bit, and exhausted that as much as I could, and transitioned right into doing the content stuff for the fishing and hunting side, and that I've been lucky enough to kind of run with that, and now more on the side of marketing. Saw a big need for some brands with how to utilize that content appropriately, the whole content wave of 2017 on. So more in the position of overall marketing, and content placement, and kind of utilizing it appropriately, getting the maximum value for it. And lucky enough to step in with a cool brand like Renegade, and be a part of what we're building here is super cool, and part of the product discussions, even outside of marketing, we got a lean team, so everyone's opinion is valued, and we got a super diverse team of what we fish on a day-to-day basis. We're mostly based in Florida, but we have a lot of guys that fish a lot of different areas, as we talked about how diverse Florida's fishery is in general, and then also, similar to me, some guys that have kind of relocated, as with most people, down to Florida,
Oh
and
yeah.
have some backgrounds and still fish some different spots. So from a production, rod manufacturer standpoint, our goal is just to provide as much as we can for majority of anglers. And that's almost an impossible goal because of everyone's needs are super specific, but we just want to get as close as we can to that niche guy that's going out there at 2 a.m, that guy that's waking up at 6 a.m trying to get on some smallmouth. This the fall cast and blast with on the Gulf Coast when you're in Homosassa.
Oh yeah.
What can we get in the boat, and what can we get for the shore fishermen? What can we provide that will last, and be a reliable product, and do some cool stuff while providing it.
I got you. So let's start from the beginning. Tell what's kind of the Renegade story looked like from the early years until now.
Yeah, Renegade started up in 2015. That was kind of its conceptual stage of the name, the idea. From the beginning, it was kind of within these time periods I'm talking about of changing with content, and it almost is like a new the whole idea was the next generation of anglers. Provide something for, I guess, the generation from what we're talking about with the New Englanders, like the younger salty crowd that came from like this line of just hard fishermen, and getting away from the idea where fly fishing was going, and lived for a little bit where it got sectioned into kind of like an exclusive crowd.
Right.
So we wanted to open those doors, and that mindset has shifted a little bit through the 9 years that the Renegade name has been around. We had new ownership come on in 2024, and now we're really just providing what I just touched on, like an every angler type approach, diversity, but also a quality product. I mean, our motto, all angler, no BS.
Right.
It's we're only focused on that, is what its capabilities are. Pretty stuff's awesome. I'm a content guy myself. I think it's fun to create some really cool stuff, but that's all about the memories and the stories. And you can't have a memory or story if your rod fails you, halfway
You're
through.
right.
It's part of the story, but it's not the whole thing. And if that does happen, we want to be the guys that understand that that's not acceptable, and really push that message, and be the support system if failures do happen.
Oh yeah, I think that's a great thing too. It's because like there are people out there that like me myself. I'm hard on my shit. Like I am
Right.
super hard on my stuff. Like I'll toss it down in the sand if like I hook fish. And it's
Yep.
like there are days where it's like I have trouble where it's like say I got like a different rod that's super expensive. I'm not just gonna toss it down. It's almost like you kind of gotta baby it. And it's
Right.
like,
And yeah, I think we don't want to be the rod that's babied. We've come up with some possible ideas that are designed for the person that doesn't baby it. Like we don't the paint's not gonna last. Like
right,
we're gonna give the best we can to support the longevity of it, and we want to work towards creating like a type of heirloom product, and really have Renegade be that like kind of backbone toward what your whole fishing system looks like. So we have large goals. We got a decent product line building up, and we're really just in a period of communication with the community of what do people want to see from us, and we take it to heart. If we get some people pushing one direction, we want to help support that because they're who got us to where we are now, and they're going to continue to help us grow through that.
I think that's something too, like you're saying, where you guys go to the community. I think that's one of those things that other companies don't do. They're just like, all right, this looks good to us. It looks pretty. We're just gonna put it out, and it's.
Right.
I don't
It's
want to
you know
use a
it's a
certain company's name, but it's like they can put it out, market it whatever price they want, and people are gonna buy it just because it's that brand. And it's like
right. And
it can snap in a week for all you know. Like it's nuts, and they don't know your name from a hole in the wall when you buy that rod.
it's a luxury to have the ability to do that, and it's something that we're prioritizing. And it's not saying we're going to be perfect in any means with communication, but like we want everyone that's a part of it to feel like there's at least a respect from our side of no like always knowing who put us in the position we are
Right.
now, and like I said, who's going to continue to push it further. The people that take the Renegade R logo and use and abuse it, we're going to take their feedback, and we're going to continue to grow our products. And if there's changes that need to happen, like we're not sitting here saying what is living right now in 10 years is going to be living. We hope to improve it. We hope to be on the side of understanding what possible new technologies come out, what can we do to make it better.
I got you. So Renegade offers distinct series like the black, gray, and white series rods and reels. What differentiates those lines, and how were they developed?
Yeah, so from a development standpoint, kind of what I touched on, going through the wide diversity of people that's had them in their hands. From the the rods before they had the perfect logo placements and everything. Fishing those prototypes, and there was a good team and diversity at the time of the development to create three distinct rods and reels. So we're in that place of right now, kind of help fill those gaps, but you got the white series. The rod is going to be medium action. It's a slower rod. It keeps you to your technique, but it's something when you're throwing it and you stick to your fundamentals, like I said, and watch that line just leave. It's a fun rod to fish, and it's got a bigger backbone, and every weight in that series is going to have the enhanced cork fighting butt on it. So you really get some leverage on the fish, and fishing it for striper up here has been great. Taking it out on the Gulf Coast and put it on some bigger fish has been awesome. But also we got guys out west that are throwing the 6 weight at Big Browns, and loving it there. So that's the white series rod. The reel is only fully sealed reel. So for salt, it's my go-to. I mean, that's kind of everything I need right now, and I got it on a bunch of rods up here fishing it on Cape. So large arbor, ton of line capacity, smooth drag. It really is just it's there when I need it to
Yeah.
be. So from the gray series, the rods are going to be you're a little bit less of a, it's going to be a medium fast action, wide range of weights. It can live in really anything you need it to be with what we offer so far. So I throw the 8 weight with a white series rod on it for like creeks and stuff up
Okay.
here, and some backwater stuff back home as well in Florida. So and then from a freshwater standpoint, we got it all the way down to 3 weight for any finesse type
Yeah.
fishing that you need. It's super high performing rod, easy to cast still. The gray series reel, it's waterproof, semi seal drag. It's got a smaller line capacity than the white series, but it's got one of the smoother drags that I've fished out of a reel. So really slick looking reel. Everything that we make is from basically a CNC aerospace grade aluminum,
Oh, sweet.
and fully cast and everything. So on the real side, we got improvements to make, and we plan on kind of hitting that, but plan on kind of pushing those boundaries some more. Our Black Series rod is our right now our top of the line rod. It's it's a faster action, and really designed to perform for anything you need it to be. It is from a castability standpoint, a really aggressive rod, and from a fighting fish standpoint, like I really haven't felt as comfortable with some other rods in its similar range as I do with the Black Series rod. So we're adding a couple weights to that, a 7 and 9 weight, and kind of help. We really want to put that rod in like the flood tide type market, from a redfish standpoint. Like I think it lives there extremely
Okay.
well. And then it's our really go-to rod we see customers buy from a freshwater standpoint as well.
Okay.
Yeah, super high performing. Um, and then the Black Series reel, it's our freshwater specific reel. There's nothing fancy about it; it just performs. Uh, it's a fun little reel for me as a salt guy. This is this isn't something that I use on a day-to-day basis, but being able to kind of fish it in some of the freshwater ponds that I've been able to fish it in, and the feedback that we've gotten from, out west and some, mid-Atlantic
Yeah.
states on the freshwater side, has been great. So that's our series right now. From the gray series rod, we're going to be adding a 10 and 11
Oh,
weight
sweet.
this fall as well. So really trying to push that up into the tarpon market, and help satisfy some of those gaps. The brand originally wasn't based in Florida, and since new ownership came on and we're based in Florida right now, our priorities are help. We want to be a Florida
Right.
based brand.
Yeah.
We want to represent what the needs are of the Florida fishermen, very well. And right now we have a lineup that supports the needs of the freshwater market really well, and then up to, you know, we do have a solid flood tide type offering right now, and from a largemouth, smallmouth standpoint, fishing rivers, drift and everything like
Right.
that. We satisfy that well, but we want to start satisfying those people chasing some larger
Oh
fish.
yeah. Do you guys have a lot of guys up there fishing like the Farmington and the Deerfield that get that Black Series rod a lot?
Um, from a mass standpoint, not right now. we do need to diversify more. With me being a New England guy, I've gotten some rods out to people that I think will pursue some of those waters. But we definitely, from a development standpoint, there was a lot of diversity and emphasis on getting these rods in different places. And now, unfortunately, with time and our slim team, like we're in product development phases, we're in, get this thing going phases. And, you know, unfortunately it's a luxury to get some trips going, but hopefully in the near future, we plan on doing it. And, anyone out there, we're all ears for if you can put our rods to the test. We love having people in different areas trying different stuff out.
Sounds good. Heck yeah, dude. Let's see. Are there particular challenges or insights gained from testing your guys' gear in less conventional fishing spots, like say a city stream or something like that? Um, or like those,
Yeah.
down there in like Homestead where they have the big canals where they're just like chock full of every fish you could imagine.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, I think you can see it emphasized in, take the Black Series 5 weight, for example. You have like a really snappy, fast action to get some quick casts out there with also being able to get the line out at the same time. So that was been definitely, that was an emphasis from development side. And the unconventional spots is a priority for us because we understand that's a majority of anglers. Not
Right.
every angler is pulling a $80,000 skiff out of their garage and launching it in the morning and getting to go wherever they need to go. So the shore angler, I think, is an under appreciated crowd, and we all at some point were doing that, and still do it. So a big thing that I like to mess around is like being able to just stop driving and fish a spot that you see,
I do the same thing.
and really not losing that childhood want, and not everything has to be this massively structured trip, but and we want to support that too, but we also just want to be the rod that sits in your truck and you can take it out and fish it and leave it in there
Right.
and bring it wherever you need it to bring it.
Just don't bring it around Bill Ricca. They steal that son. They'll put your truck on blocks and steal it.
Yeah.
They're a lull. uh,
Yeah.
how has the Renegade community evolved over the years?
Um,
You've kind of already
as I
touched on all
touched,
that. So.
yeah, but I can, continue to elaborate, like touching on the shore fisherman, the weekend warrior, the people that don't really have time to, they want to show up and trust that it works, and that's our goal. Is be there when they need it, and support them when they don't have much time to allocate towards when issues do pop up.
Right.
So from a customer service standpoint, we want to provide a better than average experience when it comes to if there is a tip that breaks or something like that. There's definitely an industry standard of what those replacements look like, and we don't really agree with what that normality is. So we want to provide a better experience there. The community as a whole has kind of seen us transition from Renegade Fly Rods to Renegade Tackle Company, and there's been an overall positive environment around it, and it ties back to what I touched on earlier with growing into what the industry is trending towards and has been trending towards, is having a diversity of ways to attack a species, and variety of ways to go after fish. So I think hinting at some things here, but there's going to be some really awesome things coming from Renegade with some really cool names and product development behind it that have had years and years of thoughts and in time put in comparing other products that I think will land in a spot that a lot of people will be happy about. And I'm excited to see that kind of go through and see the community response with those products that are down the line.
That's gonna be pretty cool. That literally just answered the next question, which is perfect. Are there any upcoming products or innovations that you're particularly excited about?
Yeah, like I touched on the couple weights that we got coming with the Black Series and the Gray Series, and then some other developments that that'll be really cool.
Heck yeah. This was that same. Let's see. What initiatives or programs do you have in place to engage with and support your customer base? I just asked that
So
question.
we got
Horrible.
we no worries. We got from a initiatives in the community and everything like that. Our goals right now are obviously, like I touched on a lot with product development, but supporting guides. I mean, they're the ones out there doing it every day, and providing a good experience and a reliable source in brand for them to work with. We're expanding those affiliates and really looking for more people to help test our products and provide feedback. And like I said, we take feedback from the community, but it's also great to see guides who get a chance to not only fish it themselves, but put it in their clients' hands, get clients' feedback, no matter the skill level. So you just instantly get like a kind of a web of feedback. So our guide program is something that we're focusing on growing, and then we are expanding on the dealer side as well. Originally, Renegade was more of a direct to consumer type brand, but the guide dealer loop is something that's really tight knit, and that's something that we want to support. So most of these guides are working out of a dealer base, and we want to have that dealer foundation and dealer and support at the dealer level, so that people can go in and pick up the rods and try them and talk to the guides in the shop about what their opinions are, and what they fished and why, and where certain things fit in. So just having that kind of base level boots on the ground is something that we're trying to build up tremendously right now. We're even going to expand into doing some fly shop visits and just popping up. And I think it's going to be more of a, we're not going to schedule it out, we're just going to pop up, and we want to see the people that planned on going to that shop anyway.
Right.
And just kind of get our gear in the hands of some people to get some feeling behind it, and then also get our logo out there. So if people start getting a little curious about what's going on at
Heck
Renegade.
yeah. Let's see. How do you envision Renegade evolving in the next 5 years?
Bigger, better, faster. It's all about taking these processes and optimizing them. So from a product standpoint, we want to be able to have a faster turnaround when we get feedback. From a development standpoint, we want to kind of push and be some of the first people to try new things out, that we believe, with our experience and the network that we have behind Renegade, and their experience and Guide's experience of their ideas, and transform them into a product that we can support more anglers, bigger community. I think something we're extremely excited about is just seeing comments and seeing love from different areas, and feeling that the back and forth between feedback and real feedback, and not being um, offended by anything by any means, and just communicating back like, all right, cool, like, we're making notes everywhere we can. If you see anything else, or have any other ideas, let me know. And it's always just like love on the response back.
Right.
So we're just keeping that open messaging, and we're really hoping that the people that we do communicate can kind of help grow that community within their own little fishing communities in different areas, and spread the word that we do care about the everyday fisherman, and we care about how our product is fished, and how well it supports what you want to do. And I think that's a message that unfortunately gets lost among some other brands as
I
well.
agree. Dude, I think if you grew up in New England with like an Irish Catholic dad or something like that, you probably can't get offended by much.
Yeah, right. I mean, it's the amount of old salts that had yell at me some things that I like. It's every day for
Oh
me,
yeah.
and my wife's born and raised in Florida, so and I've spent a majority of the second half of my life down south, and so I have a good understanding of that. So my language has definitely changed in my time living in the South, but yeah, I don't get offended by much. I've had some of my best friends say worse things to me than anyone really can, and I love them
Oh
for it.
yeah.
And you got to be able to take it and give it, and maybe we'll give it back sometimes too.
Heck
If we,
yeah.
and,
Dude,
uh,
it's
yeah, it's all good
it's
stuff.
funny. My girlfriend was born and raised here, and she like gets around my dad and my the rest of my family, and my dad's still like very much so like Massachusetts. Like it was, I think,
Yep.
like a few months into us dating, she was like, "Why'd your dad call everybody kid?"
Yeah.
You'll
Yeah.
understand why.
My mom's born and raised Brockton, so she doesn't have much of like the Southie thing going anymore, but there's times where like whether it's anger or different conversations that it comes out and to kind of focus up at that point.
Yeah,
But it's just I mean my wife's family's got it too. Like when like a big southern thing like a boy, it's
yeah.
like I didn't grow up with that, but I know now when I hear that I'm
It's like
not old by any means. I'm
ears
still
up.
in my 20s. Yeah, I'm still in my 20s, but I've had plenty of teammates get one of those from their dads, and I know to
Oh
not be
yeah.
pushing any more buttons.
Where'd you play college baseball?
I was before the whole craze of what you can do now and kind of bounce around wherever. I played at Alabama out of high
Oh,
school, and some things kind of popped up with coaches and a lot of transition period at that time. So me and a few of my other teammates there transferred to some junior colleges, and one of my roommates and me actually transferred to a junior college together south of Tampa, which is where I met my wife. And so that was State College of Florida. Played some JUCO ball. It's nothing. JUCO baseball in Florida is nothing like I forget the name of that football TV
oh,
show
dude.
that
What's it called? Last Chance U.
yeah, it's not like that. But you got guys that have situations that they got to work through. But so I did my 2 years there, graduated my associates, and finished off at Tulane University in
That's
New
where my little
Orleans.
brother
So,
went.
oh, really? Awesome.
Yeah, he
Yeah.
graduated in 2020.
Okay. Cool. Yeah, I was right there with him.
Yeah.
COVID year, was my last year.
No
So,
way, dude. That's crazy. Did you
yeah.
play
So,
ball at Tulane?
yep. Yeah.
Dude, so my brother was in SAE where the coach would buy them all tickets to go sit in the right field bleachers, and he'd send pizzas back there because they chirped the
What's
other team's
funny?
right fielder.
Yeah. What's funny is our the away team's bullpen is below that part of the stadium. And we opened up against Florida Gulf Coast, and I played in Florida for 2 years, and it's a really small baseball world. Like you're always playing against someone you either played with or played against multiple times at some point growing up. So my really good buddy from junior college finished off at Florida Gulf Coast, and he was warming up in the bullpen and got a couple beers dumped on his head. And then the officers came up and basically kicked everyone out from that side of the stadium. And I talked to him the next day, and because we're pretty open with letting teams work out in the facilities.
Yeah.
It's a weekend series, so we had a morning lift, and he was in there doing some of his rehab from throwing the previous day, and it's just like, dude, I got soaked. All my stuff smells like beer. He's like, I only got one hat here, and I was just like, oh my
I
gosh.
think
So
I think it was one year that y'all opened up against UMass Lowell or something like that,
Yeah, it was the year after I left.
They
Yeah.
ended up, I think, they ended up getting in like their right fielder's head or their bullpen catcher's head so bad that he like crashed out.
Yeah. Oh, which is funny is that year that UMass Lowell went down, he was my high school catcher, starting at for UMass Lowell. And I mean, we were a year away from, you know, like I said, it's a small world in college ball and baseball in general, but still to think like the guy who caught me in college, who went to UMass Lowell, opens up in New Orleans, Louisiana against Tulane
Yeah,
University
my brother
for
said
1 year apart.
My brother said it
Yeah.
was the weirdest thing. He was like, all of his fraternity brothers were like, dude, we're going to the game today. Let's, like, you want to come? He's like, we're playing some no name school from Massachusetts. My brother was like, what school? It's like, UMass Lowell. Bro's like, oh, if you're talking hockey, they're not really some
Yeah.
BFP school.
Right. I mean, as a baseball guy growing up, my aspirations were playing for in the South.
Yeah.
So, but I defended all the other sports, and I mean, no one knows a thing about hockey now that the Florida Panthers and the Lightning have done some cool things. Florida's really into
Oh,
hockey.
yeah.
I still have to sit there and remind them what the Bruins have done in their
Oh,
history.
yeah.
So
Dude, it's been bad being a Bruins fan these days. It's been bad being a New England fan just in
yeah, I was just gonna
general.
say New England fan in general, but it's like no one feels bad for us.
No.
We had the greatest childhood ever.
Yeah, exactly.
I mean, there's so many fan bases that can't even come close. No one can come close to what we
Oh,
experienced between Celtics, Bruins, Patriots, Red Sox.
yeah,
I mean,
nothing.
every year someone was winning. I was a big football guy too and played it for years. And I really never watched. I was a big college football
Yeah.
fan, and I think it's because we didn't have like BC has a couple years here and there, but like I think it was part of maybe my aspirations to play in the South with baseball and stuff. But like with football, it was like I'll turn it on when the playoffs start.
Yeah.
Like now it's like every game and just praying the Patriots win. But um, yeah, it's a different
Oh
time.
yeah, it is. It's a little down year. It's a little
Yeah,
down
we'll
year.
we'll get through it. Like here we are with the players' coaches now with I forget who the Bruins coach they just hired,
Strum.
but he's a former Bruin, and we got Cora, and I still believe in Cora is gonna do
I do too.
something, but hopefully the front office can help him out a
Dude, I'm
little
just
bit.
hoping Craig Breslow ends up getting fired this year.
Yeah, there's their Twitter X now is getting pretty ruthless of throwing his address around
Oh
and
yeah. You dude,
crazy.
leave it to Red Sox fans to find Craig Breslow's address.
My favorite, and this is like most baseball teams, a like running joke that's been around for a couple of years, but you'd seen it lately with the Devers news. It's like my whole like Boston sports feed is just like I'm never watching this team again until tonight at 8:30. It's like
I did the same thing yesterday. I was literally like F bombing, saying I effing hate this team. My cousin and I were like losing our minds yesterday at like 8 o'clock in the morning. And then I'm like, I'm still gonna be watching them at 9:40 p.m.
yeah, right. And I don't know, we just didn't get anything in return,
No.
and we got Big Poppy talking now about how like he kept his mouth shut and look at where he's at. So
Yeah.
it's I don't know, it's some
It's
turmoil and
it's interesting.
but
And then we gotta play him Friday.
it's yeah, I know it's gonna be crazy. I mean, even like they were playing the Dodgers during it and they were interviewing Kershaw and Kershaw found out the news like live on
Yeah.
I think it was ESPN and he's just like, oh my
He's like,
gosh, like
Buster's really doing. He's like, not Buster
yeah,
Olney,
yeah,
Buster
yeah.
Posey.
Yeah, that's the same clip that I saw
Yeah.
there. But yeah, since the fishing's been weird here, like with striper fishing the last couple of years, I've come up and fished that cheeky schoolie tournament now for a handful of years, as much as I can, and we've placed pretty well over our times, kind of partnering up. We like to think we have, because it's all of Cape Cod, it's on foot, um, and we're all like surf casters at heart
Yeah.
here. We've walked these beaches plenty of times, and especially, May, June timeframe where that tournament this year was in May, and a couple years ago because of COVID, it got pushed till August, which was weird. And but traditionally, we know where the fish are at, and I think there was like 200 something teams. Only 40 teams caught a fish over 20 inches, and I mean, usually mid May is
Yeah.
killer. Like you get the worm hatch, and um, you can really time it up well. And we feel like we messed up driving around a lot in previous years, so we stayed pretty loyal to places. And dude, we fished hard. Like, I mean, I was sore the next day from running around everywhere, casting nonstop, just, I mean, getting crazy about tying different things on, and just doing whatever we could. But every fish we caught was under 20 inches. And that's part of it was, it's got to
Yeah,
be
the
20
slot
plus
limit.
inch fish. But, yeah, fishing's been weird. And unfortunately, the Red Sox haven't been able to like help me push through those distractions. Like just angry at the sports. I mean, at least there's some hope with, knock on wood, some hope of what the Patriots might do this
Yeah.
year. But yeah,
I'd
we'll
just
see.
be at Cape Cod League games getting fucking hammered in the afternoon.
Yeah, it starts up Friday, and
Yeah.
I think I'm gonna make an appearance before we're gonna head back down to Florida here next week, and hopefully I can find some fish down there. It seems like in the Destin area, the tarpon have really been off the beach there, which is really cool to see. They're always consistent, but since it's my first time coming from the Tampa area, moving up there this past December, it'll be my first time like experiencing it full on.
Sweet.
So pumped with that, and we'll dabble around some other spots. Very used to fishing Fort Myers and Homosassa area
Yeah.
kind of has my heart, and that's where I spend and have spent a majority of my time fishing in Florida. Lived down in Naples, Florida for 2 years, and was putting my time in to get my captain's license, and fishing around 10,000 islands and south of Marco Island there. So that it was great, and that's kind of just some of the background of Florida's got. You drive 2 hours, you're dealing with a
Oh
different
yeah.
pressure, you're dealing with a different style of fishing that people in that bay or that area do. And spending the last couple years in Tampa, it's like I don't fish Tampa Bay. It's just I would hear word on fish being somewhere, and like 2 days later it'd be like ghost town. Like
Yeah.
someone tells someone who tells another person Tampa Bay area in an unpopulated spot, and it just gets blown to
Oh,
shit.
I bet. Dude, you ever been to Barfly out there? That's
uh, it sounds
it's in
familiar.
it's in shoot. I have to look it up. Let's see. It's in dang. Jeff, this dude named Jeff owns it. It's in dang it. Where's it at? Dang, I literally had him on my podcast the other week.
Oh gosh.
Yeah. Um it's in let's see. I already forgot. He's doing a new um Safety Harbor.
Okay. Yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. I know Safety Harbor, but like I said, the name sounds super familiar.
Yeah. It's called Barfly at Safety Harbor. I couldn't remember because he is doing a whole new like storefront and all that stuff too. But
Yeah.
how I usually end all the podcasts is I do 5 songs for the Trout Tunes playlist. I actually forgot to make my picks today.
No worries. Sweet. All right. I'm definitely gonna throw some different stuff in
Hey,
there.
I'm
So
good
I
with
hope
that.
you give it a listen. I trend heavily towards like different reggae and like alternative and all that stuff. So if you, from a video standpoint, like I loved like 5-6 years ago, and I still try to watch them, but like morning tide fishing out in Australia and Briggsy and Cavi over there. Like that's what I watched. And then I'd go and throw 8 weight at a 10-inch snook while going home and watch them catch massive GT. But I think some of that inspiration drove, and some of my like random action sport background and snowboarding and stuff drove some of those alternative passion. That's why I'm into that stuff. So, all right, I got Where I Go by Old Mervs. No one is going to be surprised. Anyone that knows me, no one's going to be surprised by that pick there.
Who sings it?
Old Mervs, Mervs. They're a band out of Australia.
Got it. All right, sweet. There it is. All right. There's one.
Then I got Bodyguard by Steel Pulse. Older reggae song. Very good.
There it is. Got it. That's 2.
Do Stonecutters, one word, by it's called Dope Lemon.
Got it. For some reason, I feel like I've heard that band.
That's been kind of it's definitely like made its circuit through Instagram Reels a couple years ago. I feel like, but it's a banger. It's a good one. We'll go Officer, Slightly Stupid, another classic reggae type.
So I do like there. Slightly Stupid.
Yeah, Slightly Stupid's great. We'll go Always There by Greta Van Fleet.
Another good one. Yeah, I forgot to make mine today. But
no worries. Hopefully those can get the momentum going for the playlist.
Heck yeah, dude. It's got 200 songs on it, dude. I'll send it to you. But that's all I got, man. You want to give out any plugs or anything like that before we go?
Yeah. Renegade Tackle Co. on Instagram. RTC Collective on Facebook, but the name's Renegade Tackle Co. Check out our website. Shoot us an email. You got any questions? Want us to do something? Let us know if you've asked other brands that for a product that you think needs to be made. Hit us up. We're all ears on cool stuff, and yeah, we'll just we'll keep pushing along.
Heck yeah, dude.